Under stress, most people think that cortisol kills performance, that stress pulls you out of flow. But what if the opposite was true? What if the same stress hormone you've been told to avoid is actually required for you to enter flow? Welcome to the Fear Less Stress Lab. I'm Dr. Rebecca Heiss, and here we run experiments to unpack exactly what stress is doing in your body and how to begin to use it on purpose. Flow is the state where you're fully immersed, deeply focused. Time seems to disappear, and performance feels effortless. It's often described as being in the zone. But here's what people often miss. Flow doesn't happen when you're relaxed. It happens when you're activated. Cortisol has a terrible reputation. It's often labeled as the stress hormone, like it's something to avoid. But cortisol is what actually helps you mobilize energy, sharpen attention, and increase alertness before any kind of big presentation, competition, or high-stakes moment. Cortisol rises for a reason. It's preparing you to perform. Flow sits in a very specific zone, not too relaxed, not too overwhelmed, but right in the middle, where challenge meets skill. And cortisol plays a key role in getting you there. Too little activation, and you're bored, distracted, unengaged. Too much, and you're anxious, overwhelmed, and you start to shut down. But in that optimal middle range, cortisol helps focus your attention and sustain effort. That's where flow becomes possible. Psychologists often refer to this as the challenge-skill balance, where the challenge is high, but your skills are just enough to meet it. That slight edge of discomfort, that's not a problem. That's the entry point, and cortisol is part of what gets you there. But too often, people miss getting into the flow because they try to avoid stress. They try to calm down and reduce activation, play it safe, which actually pulls them away from their greatest opportunities. Because flow requires engagement, and engagement requires activation of the stress response. So instead of asking, how do I calm down? Ask instead, how do I channel this activation? Because when your heart is racing and your focus sharpens, that's not a sign that you're failing or even moving into a space of overwhelm. Instead, it's a sign that you are getting close and your body is prepared to support you. Because cortisol doesn't block flow. It helps create the conditions specifically for it, when it's regulated and interpreted correctly. So the next time you feel that surge before a big moment, don't try to eliminate it. Use it. Flow doesn't come from being calm. It comes from being engaged. Stay stressed, my friends, but let's all learn to fear it a bit less. If this was useful, there's a whole lot more content like it inside my Fear Less Stress Lab series. And if you want to go even deeper, I've built a masterclass that teaches exactly how to train our stress response and begin to use it as a competitive advantage. Just comment Fearless below and I'll send you the first chapter of my book for free.